Right, morning, wake up to Rodney. So, interesting one this morning. So, tennis last night. Amanda Anisimova beats Iga Swiatek. I think it's 1-2 or 1-3, something like that. So, Iga Swiatek was clearly tired. So, that was that. But it's irrelevant. You still got to beat or play whoever's in front of you, and she did. Now that's obviously revenge for that smashing at Wimbledon last year, where she got absolutely destroyed. Love, didn't even turn up. Yeah, I think it was like an astral plane of herself who played tennis, and Amanda never turned up. Anyway, which brings me to my point, and my point is, obviously Anisimova on a hard court is going to be harder to beat than Anisimova on a grass court. It's a more even field, so therefore they don't get into as much the movement on the ground, better feel on the ground. You can use your power more. Game's not necessarily quicker, but you can use your power more, that type of thing. So if Anisimova was just a little bit more patient, she could cause more damage to Iga than she could on grass. And Iga is more adaptable and can move better on grass. So anyway, she wins. Anisimova wins. Now, why is that important? Why does that matter? So I'll tell you why it matters. And I've said this, and I will say it, and I'll say it again. The programming that you do is all geared to where your successes are going to be. So, for example, I'm a business lecturer. And my first business was when I was like 16. Yeah. So, although things have changed, yeah, in terms of certain aspects of how business is done, like there's no social media when I was 16. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that you adapt, you move on, you change. Now, my thesis at university for my first degree was on Tim Henman. So I've always loved tennis. Was on Tim Henman, and see, it's always about timing. And see, can Anisimova go forward now and beat Sabalenka? So Pergola's on one side, and Anisimova's on the other side. So I think someone has to play Osaka and someone has to play Pergola. Now, is she good enough to? Now the answer is yes. Answer is yes, completely. However, is the timing right for her? Or can she make the time? Bloody hell. Or can she make the timing right for her? Now, I'll give you another example. Yo. There you go. I'll give you another example. And it's all to do with sport, performance and sport. So, stay with me. And business. It's never been a harder time to set up a business. And it's also never been an easier time to set up a business. Why do I say an easier time? Because people have got that biggest commodity, which is time. People at the moment are time rich because they're not cash rich. Now, let me link to something else. So at the moment, before, everybody used to want to own restaurants. So they'd go into massive debt to open up a restaurant, and it either worked or didn't work. But now you can go into semi-small debt yeah, and you can go into a semi-small deck and set up a pop-up. What the heck? Oh no, I did it again. I paid for 2 days lottery and both days were covered. Ah. Anyway, so I should have checked my ticket, shouldn't I? So anyway, my point is like, it's all to do with timing. Now, I always use this same business model. So last night I watched MasterChef, and there was a girl who's got like thousands of followers on TikTok, and that's her just cooking at home for a family, and she's got thousands of followers. Now, that meant without any, she sells houses, without any training for any culinary training, potentially, I don't know. But the girl went on MasterChef and was the first person out, poor girl. But on TikTok, she got thousands of followers. So if she was to set up, for example, if she was to set up some kind of pop-up business based on her TikTok followers, she would be potentially successful because she's got a following, her food looks pretty decent, but in terms of culinary knowledge, she demonstrated at the highest level, on TV level, that she didn't have any. She didn't have any culinary knowledge. She didn't have any idea of what went with what. She didn't have any idea of the time. Now, most people who are good cooks at home probably would struggle on MasterChef, and it's not because they can't cook. It's probably because the way to cut something, the way to blend something, the order in which to put something together is different in a hot kitchen than it is at home. You can't just blend everything and it works. Yeah. And the poor girl, I don't know, put milk with cherries to get a foam, whereas you would have put single cream, which would have been there, double cream for it to be thicker, to enhance the flavour of the cherries. You should have used some form of cream, yeah, and some form of sugar. She didn't, poor girl. She used milk. So she died a death, went out first round. But in terms of her marketing, fantastic. She's huge on TikTok, huge following on TikTok. Now, brings the same. So let's take it back to tennis. It's all about timing. All about timing. Now, Anisimova, yeah, has been, she's been obviously a junior, grown up. I think she's what, 24, 25, 26. She's around that age. She's around that age now where she's an adult woman, body's developed, power's developed, game's developed, attitude's developed. Now, someone of her ability, people watching would say she's good enough to win a Grand Slam. Loads of people are good enough to win a Grand Slam, but to do what needs to be done to win a Grand Slam, which is why so few people have done it in compared to how many people play tennis, is because it's the stuff that you don't want to do that now pays dividend. And this is what people don't understand, and this is why I'm going to say, for a limited time only, I'm going to do my book, PDF, a PDF version of my book for £5. Just send me send me an email. I email you an invoice, pay the invoice, I send you the book. Yeah. And the point of that is that more people need to read my book to understand it's in the smallest percentages that pay the biggest dividends. The smallest percentages, I say it again, the smallest percentages pay the biggest dividends. Because if everybody could see it, everybody can do it. But the truth is, not everybody can see it. Most people don't pay attention to the details. Most people, and that's why, and I could list you 50, 100 girls who were good enough to go pro. I could list you 50 to 100 girls who were pro, or women who were pro, who never won a Grand Slam, you know, for whatever reason. Now, you telling me, yeah, that a 6'1", 6'2" Naomi Brody, yeah, wasn't good enough to win a Grand Slam? I'll debate that with anybody. What I will debate, yeah, is that the smaller percentages probably didn't matter to her. So she went with the bigger percentages, which is what everybody does, which is why very few people win Grand Slams, because it's with the smallest percentages. Unless timing. Now, I've always said, and look back at my videos, yeah, Emma Raducanu won that Grand Slam because of timing. It was absolute timing. She was young. It was her first Grand Slam. She had no fear. She had no understanding of tennis. So she just went out there and smacked that ball. Yeah, that rawness. Same with Coco Gauff. Went out there, smacked that ball. Same with Bianca Andreescu. Went out there, smacked that ball. Same with one other player, I can't think of her name. Coco Gauff. Went out there, smacked that ball. Nothing matters. Nothing mattered. Yeah. But now, as you get older, yeah, all these things start to creep in. All of these elements start to make sense. All these elements start to come together. And if you don't understand the 1 to 3 to 5%, you can't get the biggest dividend. It's almost impossible. And the reason why it's impossible is because of the mindset. Your mindset then switches on you. Your mindset fights against you. Because some geezer or some woman, yeah, some Fräulein, yeah, will come and say, do this. And you'll say, oh, I don't need to do that because I do this. And that's one of the biggest problems with junior tennis. Because they've done what they've done at junior tennis, yeah, and now it's turned to adult tennis. They think it's junior tennis with a little bit of add-on. They think it's the same. It's not. So their approach, yes, they might get close. Yes, they might get good results, but it doesn't matter whether you lose or win by an inch or a mile. It's still winning and losing. Tennis is ranked on winning and losing, and that is it. And because of that, there's no forgiveness in tennis. There's no way of winging it. For example, you might be able to get a few good results, and then people get gassed. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying this, because there's two junior girls. I can't say her name, Stojakovic or something like that. That might even be right. And Hannah Klugman in the quarterfinals. So if they both win, they'll go to the semis. And they're both different sides of the draw, so they won't play each other. Yeah, so that's good. So there's two young English girls. Yeah. Now, their coaches will say on a junior level, they're doing fantastic, and they are, because they're getting to quarterfinals of Grand Slams. That's amazing. Now, the truth is, I could go from Broadstairs in Kent to the Isle of Mull in Scotland, and I can find fantastically talented tennis players all the breadth of the country. Now, when I say, are you prepared to take the risks? Only, not even 1% are prepared to take the risk, not even 1%. And that's where the biggest shame of the British tennis comes from. They won't do that investment in that 1 to 5%. And that investment might only be buying my book. That investment might only be changing coach. Yeah. And I know it's hard to change coach, because coaches know how to pull on your heartstrings. Coaches know how to put you in a vulnerable situation. They know your game. Some coaches are better than others, granted, but coaches know how to manipulate, which again is bad. Yeah. So, in a way, in a roundabout way, you've got to think about it. You got to think about it in a way that, is this high performance? Is this making sense? Is this improving me? Listen and learn. Yeah. And to go full circle, that's how we've got back to where Anisimova a month ago lost Love and Love, or whatever the score was, in less than an hour in a Wimbledon final. So you'd have wasted your money on a ticket. Yeah. A kettle could boil, you could make toast, and a boiled egg would take longer, depending on which order. In the same way that setting up a business, if you think you're good enough to open a restaurant, what business training have you done? If you think you're good enough to go on MasterChef, no problem going on MasterChef based on the TikTok following. But when you're going on MasterChef, look at the word MasterChef. So obviously this was a year ago, because it was filmed a while ago. But this poor girl had got confidence from her TikTok following, but when it came down to culinary skills, she didn't have any. Poor girl. So if I was her now, that's exactly what I would be doing. Going to night school, getting some culinary experience. And you might say, yeah, but I cook rustic food. So if you cook rustic food, yeah, then MasterChef might not be the location for you to go on, unless you're going on for publicity. Now, funnily enough, she's come off my feed. I haven't seen her on my feed in ages. Don't know why. I need to look for her. But my feed's ridiculous. I don't know what algorithm TikTok is using. So again, timing. So let's say she went on the next series of MasterChef, but I don't think you can just be a serial returner because of the amount of people that go on. I'm not sure. The amount of people that apply. It's not like a tennis tournament where you just go in the next one. Yeah, when you go on a national tournament like MasterChef, it's your kind of one and only shot. Get the basics right, or do some other competitions first. And also as well, on TikTok, she's I think she's called a curvy cook or something like that. If she's got 20,000 followers, 18,000 of them are men who just like to see her curves. So, you know, that's not an attribute to how good a cook you are. They're just looking at you. So make sense of it. Nigella Lawson, she is the absolute depiction of intelligent marketing that makes sense. Yeah. And Oh yeah, so that, I never finished my Emma Raducanu point. So Emma Raducanu, yeah, I always say it's down to timing. She took advantage of the fact that Johanna Konta pulled out, because I'd predicted, but it's the same. Your last dig is the dig before you reach the diamonds, and Johanna Konta quit one tournament too early. I don't know whether she quit, retired, I don't know what the reason was, but she didn't play that US Open, and I think that would have been Johanna Konta's US Open to win. And the poor girl, for love nor money, can't get media gigs and stuff like that. It's all about timing. Johanna Konta, you know, had the ability, a little bit stiff, but had the ability. Yeah. Timing. Gave up one tournament too early. Listen, like and subscribe, guys. Business video tomorrow. Like and subscribe. Wake up to Rodney. Bye.